What's going on, everybody? Frank with Linemaker Sports here. I got a question for everybody. How many of you guys put in 10 to 15, 20 bets? I was one of them. So we're going to go ahead and debunk some myths today in sports betting. What we're going to do is we're going to talk about how many games is just too many games. You know, should you be playing 15, 20 games? Really, should you be putting in a lot of action like that? Because everybody loves action, including myself. But is it the most profitable thing to be doing? That's what we're going to go ahead and we're going to discuss. All right, but without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into it for today. The myth is, should you be betting more plays? Is that going to be the recipe for being able to getting yourself ready to be more profitable? Well, it's not. All right, it's just not. You don't need to bet a million games. Now, when you are betting a whole bunch of games, the thing is that, you know, it's vital, all right? It's vital to the process of being able to turn a profit. Just because you're putting out about 15 games, like let's say you're betting on them, I know your mind probably thinks like, you know, I'm betting 15 games. If I win all 15 games, like I'm gonna make a lot of money, right? But here's the thing, you're probably not gonna win all 15 games when you bet on 15 games, all right? The odds of doing that are very slim, because if that was the case, you just parlay all 15, right? You get a max payout on that stuff. You got to think that you're probably not going to win all 15 games. All right. And what you'll probably need, barring on whatever the odds are and stuff like that, you're probably going to need to hit about 10 of those 15 games. Now, here's the thing. If you don't, you could put yourself in a very bad predicament. All right. You bet 15 games. Well, you lose like 12 of those. Now you have put yourself in a hole to where you are going to have to dig yourself out probably the rest of the month to recoup if you end up losing like 12 out of 15 games. Or you might just completely tilt and go crazy in that one night and lose all your money and lose your whole entire bankroll. I was betting 15 to 20, games a day, thinking that that was the recipe to really that was the recipe to making more money, right? Because I got more action out there. If I win more games, I'm going to make more money. All right. But my concept of thinking was wrong. I was thinking, you just have to win 11 to 12 games. You can win 11 to 12 games. I'm going to make a profit and, I'm good. I got a more opportunity to be able to win. Well, that's not until, I realized after a couple months of being in the red constantly that multiple things had to go right for me to be able to, cut a profit. The odds had to be right, because here's the thing. When you are betting 15 to 20 games, if you bet all minus 110 plays, you could win 11 games out of 20 and cut a little profit, but you're not going to. What I'm explaining to you right now is my story of pretty much when I was betting 15 to 20 games. All right? It just wasn't the way to go. I kept losing. So I kept losing like amounts of money, and I'm sitting here thinking, I'm like, is this the right way to do it? Because why do I keep betting all these games, but I keep losing money? Every day I'm losing money. I'm not gaining anywhere. Next thing. All right. So once I kept looking at my numbers and I realized that I wasn't picking the best games, because I was just trying to get those odds. Like you said, I was trying to get minus 110 odds and whatnot. I was just trying to get a lot of action down as well, until, one day where I just discussed happened to me. I lost like 15 games. And mentally, I was pretty, I was down on myself on that day for sure. I was contemplating like, what am I doing? Like, am I doing something wrong? The back of my mind was like, you know what? Let's just take the whole bankroll, throw it on the last game of the night. Let's do it. Screw it. Let's just go for it. And I know you guys all been there too, because we've all been there. We've all been, in that predicament. But I realized that, that's what happens when you bet that many games. When you bet so many games, you can put yourself in a bad area right there where, at the end of the night, if you had a bad day, you're contemplating throwing everything on one game to try to recoup everything. So then I had to figure out, like, well, how am I going to fix this? Obviously, because you can't keep doing that. You're just going to keep losing. All right. Which I kind of don't understand. A lot of people that I talk to as well is, they've been betting sports for like 20, 30 years or whatnot, but they're always losing. I don't know how you guys can go 20, 30 years of losing constantly and not try to figure out, how to fix it. Like, that's crazy to me. Anyway, getting back to how I was able to find the fix when it came down to it. All right. After I realized that I need to slim down the amount of games that I was playing to limit the unimaginable days that happen when you lose, because they're inevitable, I went back to the drawing board and I looked at most of my wins, where those wins were coming from. Now, obviously, I wouldn't even be able to did that if I wasn't tracking my stuff. So that's another important thing, is making sure you're tracking your stuff, because when you're just betting stuff and you have no idea what you're betting, you have no tracking that goes along with any of it, you have no idea. And you can't go back like I was able to go back. So I was able to go back, and when I looked, I was like, wait a minute, minus 110 plays, these ones are like losing mostly. The plus money ones, those ones are losing as well. A little bit of the higher odd plays are the ones that are actually consistently winning. You know, those ones are actually doing better. So how do I find those ones? You know, so once I was able to notice that, you know, that's where the wins were coming from, that I dove deeper into those plays. All right, let me try to find those exact plays with a little bit of higher odds, but ones that are going to actually give me the best shot at winning. All right, because just because a play is minus 200 does not mean it's going to win. That's high odds, and the sportsbook wants you to think that, like, hey, this team's minus 200, they're going to win, right? So go put your money on it. That's not necessarily how it goes. But I was able to realize that I had to take those games that I was winning consistently and dive a little deeper into those and try to find the ones that are actually going to give me the highest probability of winning. That's what it comes down to. It comes down to you got to be able to find those plays that are going to give you the highest probability of winning. Because like I just said, just because the game is minus 200 does not mean that game is going to win. And that's where the public goes wrong a lot of the times. They think that, like, this is a minus 300 play. Guess what? It's going to be, I don't even need to look into any other research because it's going to win. Yeah, maybe it'll win that day, but consistently over time, if you're not doing other research that goes along with that and you're just betting that number, you're going to end up losing money. Here was the recipe that I kind of figured out of what I needed to do. Yeah, I realized a couple things here. So small wins, they add up over the course of time. You know, 0.3 of a unit a day. People don't realize this. This is a minus 300 play. You add that up over the course of a month and you're getting almost 10 units. Just think of that. If you can average somehow that, I'm not saying win every day, you win 0.3 of a unit every day. I'm not saying that. You can get a good return. I mean, if you're getting any return, you're doing what 99% of sports bettors can't do, right? My bankroll wasn't as exposed as it was in previous times. Mentally, that doesn't screw me up. It doesn't make me think like, oh, I lost so much money. I need to just dump my bankroll out. I need to tilt and just go on and, you know, bet the last game of the night. Not even looking at who's playing, just go bet the over, right? How many people did that? Last game of the night, you just go and you go, just slam the over. That's all we do. That's what a sports bettor does. A lot of sports bettors do that. All right. Another thing is I had to realize that, you know, that I could win a higher percentage depending on the games that I was looking into further. So the ones that had the higher odds, yeah, they're going to give you a better shot at winning. But when you go and look into other factors that go into like a play like that, you're able to notice that if certain things are able to line up, it could give you 70 to 75% chance that that play would win. So I'm just using that as an example. Minus 200 play, 60 to 65% chance right off the bat of that actually winning. If you find the other recipe of being able to, you know, correlate other stuff that goes into that play to line up as well, then you're going to give yourself a 70, 75% shot that that play is actually going to win with other stuff lining up. So now if you're betting a minus 200 play, but you actually have like a 75% shot at that play winning, then you realize you got something there. That was the recipe behind it. All right. I had to realize I had to cut the amount of games down. I had to dive deeper into the games that I was actually winning at. Then I was able to hit at a higher percentage. Then I realized mentally that the small wins are going to add up over time. I'm not trying to make 10 units in one day. I'm trying to drag it out over the course of a month and just be disciplined, because when you don't do it that way, you're putting yourself at risk. You're putting your bankroll at risk. Then next thing you know, one bad day, you're screwed mentally. You're dumping everything you have in the last game of the night because your mind is blown because you've lost half your bankroll in one day. Less is definitely more, guys. That's how you want to be able to approach the sports betting game. Limit it down to the best games possible that are going to give you the highest percentage of actually winning. Once you do that, you're going to see more profit and you're not going to lose as much. All right. But that is debunking the myth pretty much when it comes to sports betting, how many games you got to be able to put down. Make sure you guys give me a thumbs up if you guys enjoyed this video. Also, make sure you guys go and check out the other content that I got out there, because it's definitely a, you know, encyclopedia of sports betting and stuff like that. So make sure you guys go and check out all the other content out there. If you haven't subscribed already, go ahead and do that now. All right. As always, guys, I'm Frank with Linemaker Sports. I'll see you guys in the next video.